The cost on those are generally a little bit more expensive than what you're looking at. And for the bulk of the employees, they don't like the fact that now I don't have any coverage until I get to that level. And then the attitude we get back from the employees is, gee, I don't have insurance. You know, but it does appeal to I would say the young, healthy folks and the middle-aged people who've gotten rid of their kids and haven't yet got sick enough. They don't always get sick, but it does appeal to a certain aspect. But from a pricing standpoint, they're priced very close to these plans, and the big savings is the advantage of putting the money into the account.
Okay.
Did you say on the FSA they put money into it, and if they don't use it, they only get part of it back?
Under a flexible spending account, part of the IRS code, an employee can put that money away tax deferred. It comes out, it goes into tax free into the account, and they can pull it out tax free to pay for unreimbursed medical, dental, and vision expenses. But the IRS says you got to use it during the plan year, which is a 12-month cycle. They did amend it to let you roll over at least $500, but otherwise they forfeit the money. And that was the actual spending limits on that prior to the Affordable Care Act. Were they were unlimited. People were putting $5,000, $6,000 into it, and the feds have cut the reimbursement level down to $2,550. $50. And the reason they want people to forfeit that money is they don't want it to be used as a tax shelter. They want you to use it or get rid of it. And if it is forfeited, it actually goes to the plan administrator, which is the city.
So that's one of the reasons we're looking at any kind of cash value that may be there. If you come to work and you have leave built up, and if there are cash values associated with that, maybe there's a way to allow employees to use that to kind of take away some of the sting of a higher deductible.
So do we have to vote on this tonight?
We would like for you to see what direction you want to go, because we have to plan for early enrollment. If there are plan changes, people have to switch. They have to plan what they're going to be doing. You have people making plans for medical procedures and things, and they need to have some idea of what's going to be available to them in terms of health insurance.
Didn't July 1 our drop dead day?
Yes.
Okay. So yes, it has to be. So July 1.
Yeah, we're trying to time it with a new fiscal year, and it is a little ahead of the budget, but it is part of the budget. And we were trying to allow time to let the employees know what was going to be available, and because we have limited staff, to try to organize the process in case there were people that needed to change.
This is always one of the worst jobs we have to do.
They wouldn't make it look good.
Yeah.
Well, I see a couple employees out there. Can I ask them if they want to have an opinion? Come on.
Well worded. I'll speak of it.
Just come please up here to the microphone.
Look at it officially as a matter of
Yes.
Mike Donaldson, been with the city almost 18 years in December. I have concerns because I'm not only the only one in this audience that has a family, but I've seen over the past 12, 13 years that unfortunately for everybody, just not us, but everybody in the nation, insurance and everything continues to go up. Unfortunately, in most places, they've also gotten pay increases and incentives. And when that happens, we are continuing to force to bite the bullet, and it makes it tough. And I know that sometimes it's hard to speak out because you just, as an employee, the business side of it, I understand that you guys are trying to save money. I get that. But the biggest thing is with health savings and everything, all that sounds great. But when you haven't had a pay increase and they continue to go up, you've got to have money to put aside for health savings. And you don't have that when you don't have pay increases. So I would ask that you guys continue to explore and work hard. I know that you are, and I do appreciate that. But I am concerned, and I'm very appreciative of my job here. Do not think that I'm not ungrateful. I'm very grateful. But I look at the big picture, and we've got a lot of outstanding employees here. And we're not doing anything to keep them here. And I can go into more detail on that at a later time, but it's not the time and place for that.
Right. Thank you, Mike.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Hey, I'm Larry Richardson. I've been here for 7 years. Another thing about it is with our sick leave, we lose it. Once we build up to 6 months, we lose it. Sergeant Jenkins right there hasn't ever called out sick for years. If he's sick, y'all call 911 because he's dead. But the thing about it is he's lost time. So we're penalized for not using our time. Or, you know, if we use our time, then we don't have money to put into an account. But if we stay here all the time and we don't get sick, then every month when we're supposed to be building that time, we're losing it. So what's the incentive of not using it? I mean, I don't mean to be
That's a
about
valid
it.
point.
It's a thing of what's the point?
Right.
And like Mike said, you know, and I know that there's a pay study being done and everything, but when the prices keep going up and we keep going down or not moving, then we're not going to keep people. On my shift, we've lost 5 medics. This department is suffering in paramedics right now because we used to have about 16 or 17, and now we're down to where we have officers and everything that are paramedics that are having to run on the ambulance now because we can't keep them. We're becoming a training ground for other departments. They come here, get their stuff. See, I'm going down to Clayton County and getting an $8,000 a year pay raise to walk in the door. That's a big problem, and it's going to escalate quicker and quicker and quicker. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry.
Mr. Mayor, let me also echo the truth of what these employees are saying. And again, you know, that
Here 18 years, I'm very familiar with
a pay
the
study
situation.
is being completed and will be brought forward for your consideration as part of the budget, just so you know, and so the employees know.
We bump into this wall every year because, you know, some people would say, oh, well, if they don't like it, then just go find a job somewhere else. But having owned the business for 37 years, I've kept my people because I take care of them. I pay them well. I give them benefits as much as I can afford to give them. I give them vacation. And I don't run an operation that's so restricted that you can't enjoy coming to work every day. You don't get and keep good people by treating them like they're disposable. So the notion of, well, you know, say la vie, the rest of the world suffering, I understand that because I myself, my insurance is over $600 a month and it's an $8,000 deductible. You know, and it's just a bullet I have to bite because that's all I can afford to pay. And the city's the same way. I mean, we're looking at a 20% increase. If we kept what we got, 934,000 to 1,121,000, I don't think we're quite those 20% increase.
We have not.
So,
We budgeted for option B.
I don't know. I mean, I understand. I'm right in the middle of this seesaw because I understand how the employees feel because I've been here 18 years and I've seen the lack of raises we've been able to provide. And I've also watched year after year after year the city having to absorb more and more and more and more in these increases. And that's not going to change because until this healthcare situation settles down, we're going to continue to face these increases. So it's a damned if you do and damned if you don't situation. So I don't know what to tell you, council. Again, I'm right dead in the middle because I see both sides. I see both sides of the point.
I like that we're doing a pay study, but I don't want it just to be a poster. I mean, what will we do about it? We have to be willing to cut something that maybe people really like, but I think that, for me, the cafe has been open 25 years this year, which is unbelievable, the longest job I ever had. And I haven't been fired, it's been good, almost.
Had some close days there.
But, swung at, but anyway. it is important to hold your employees. I mean, our customers see the same people year after year. Most of them have been with us for 20 of the years. And that's important to me, and it's gotta be important to the city. So I guess at some point in time, we have to look at what is it we're gonna cut if we're gonna increase. And I don't think that if we're gonna increase is really a question, it's how we're gonna do it, because I think we have to.
Yes, we do.
Agreed, and just, again, I don't mean to get the cart before the horse, but if you all make the decision here, we have budgeted for option B, and then we are going to be presenting a plan for pay raises in the budget. And I don't want to get into all that right now. I don't have all the numbers right now. We are still working on them, but it's looking very favorable. And so rather than being premature, I would encourage your consideration of option B, and then understand that absolutely we are going to be bringing forward recommendations to address the employees' concerns, as the mayor has stated, within what we can afford. And I think that they'll be pleasantly surprised, but I can't get into those details at this moment.
So really, what we're voting on, I mean, we don't have a lot of choice here. We have to provide something, so it's bad, or worse, right? In terms of
That's a
choices.
great way to summarize it. Yes, sir.
Well, but I mean, we have to choose one. We can't just say, well, we've dropped the insurance program.
Correct.
So, if that's a have to, but I sure would, I know we can't promise a number or percentage, but I sure would like a pledge from all of us that it's a very high priority. To
Let
do
me ask
something.
this, Matt. I know that for a long time and currently, single employees with the basic HMO pay nothing. So I wonder if and I see that the cost on that and the new renewal is $562.55 a month.
Yes.
Correct. So if we did something like maybe have every employee pay, the people who are paying zero now, say maybe pay $250. What does that do to the rest of this stuff?
But then I think you're creating the same problem that the employees have just spoken to. Because if they don't, right, if they don't have any health needs then, or any health problems, then they don't have that deductible to meet in that calendar year. And I mean, let's face it, the way I look at health insurance for me is the routine stuff I can handle. I'm looking for the $100,000 catastrophic cancer stuff, and I think that's what we got to keep in mind too. So I think by doing that, I mean, I see where you're going,
Well, and
but I think that's going to hurt the people that can afford it.
Well, and there's 67 who are the basic HMO, and yes, for years, could be Donaldson's all 18 years maybe were basic HMO, but so then that would be a very hard pill to swallow if you were to all of a sudden say, well, it's going to be $200 for the people who paid nothing. I don't believe there are very many entities, government nor private, that have any employees who have free insurance. I mean, that's just kind of where we are, and I don't want to hit them with $526 all at once, but I could see that maybe we might want to have broach that at some point, and if that occurs, can we keep the benefits that they were for the the deductible and the amount of the co-insurance and the office visits and the drugs and all of that every category went up?
Well, you would have to make up $100,000.
Right.
And it's going to be a slap in the face to 67 employees.
Yeah, and what you're doing, you're just changing it. You're just changing it from us taking the increase and giving it to them, and they haven't gotten a pay increase, but now you want them to pay more for their insurance. That doesn't really solve their problem at all. It reduces our out-of-pocket there. Maybe we'll give a little more raise because of it, but it's not helping them in one little bit by making them pay it.
If I may say, when we talk to employees, we do a lot of the open enrollment meetings, you've got about 70% of the employees out there, they don't use the insurance. They're most concerned with what's coming out of their paycheck, and that's how they buy. And you've got 30% of them who are more concerned about, hey, if I do get sick and I'm willing to pay a little bit more, And those are generally the categories that we see folks make a decision. And as I'm sitting here looking at your all's chart, you have about 20 people who are paying a little bit more, so they have more flexibility in their care. And you've got about 106 that said, no, the money's more important to me. But typically, we usually see it more as the folks who use it more, they understand, because, you know, even today, you go out and you have a simple procedure done, and you're into the $10,000 to $20,000 claim range just right out of the bat. So usually the employees, when we talk to them, they're more interested in keeping their costs as low as possible, generally speaking.
Let me ask you this, excuse me, sir, William or Matt, do we have any employees who say, I don't want any insurance because my husband has the insurance? Do we have that option, or do we make everybody have our insurance?
No, we let people choose. And we have gone through that exercise, and we'll be happy to have that conversation again if, for example, my wife were to work somewhere and her company offered insurance, you know, and it was a better value, you know, maybe we would have her need carried on hers. I mean, we've gone through that conversation to the extent we can, and we certainly will do it in the renewal period to make sure that we're not carrying insurance for people that maybe could get it somewhere else.
If they so chose.
Well,
Yes.
you just heard a firefighter say that our city is a training ground for people to go to the other agencies. Don't think that doesn't come without cost to us. I mean, we have to bring another firefighter in, we have to train them, and that's a cost. We have the same problem with police. Other cities are paying more money, and there's, you know, some people say, well, you shouldn't provide your employees health insurance and pay for all of it, but we have to be competitive with what the other cities are doing, and that's what they're doing. They're paying more, and they've got sometimes better insurance than we can offer. So it's a competitive issue too with the quality of people that you want. We're never going to build a good strong police department that long term that keeps revolving and new officers are coming in, going and taking the best offers. Same thing with firefighters. There's a revolving door, and that's bad. It's bad for the morale of the department. It's bad for the small town feel that we have here, where we like to know the faces that we deal with every day. So these are all things that have to be weighed when we're talking about the value of these benefits for the employees. So folks,
Are y'all getting ready to vote now? Because I have some things I want to ask.
well, we're really not in public comments on this right now. It's a presentation to council.
All right, good.
I'm sorry.
Well, that's-
I will make a motion that we accept option B.
Okay, there's a motion to accept option B. Is there a second? Going once?
I'll second it just so we go into discussion.
Okay, so we have a motion to accept option B, and we are in discussion.
Do we have a better choice? Is there a better choice?
No, sir.
I mean, I know for me,
Not that
I
I'm
dropped
aware
out
of.
of the insurance world and went to Samaritan. I went from $1,400 a month down to $180. But not everybody can do that.
Just a little background, we've been working on this at least 120 days. I mean, this is not a process that we just snapped our fingers and brought to you. We put a lot of hard work into this, a lot of staff time, and we are not aware at this time of any other viable options. We've presented everything that we're aware of.
Has it been your experience in the insurance business that this is pretty common ratios as far as increases?
Very much so.
Well, my personal insurance went up from 600 something to 900 and something, and my deductible went up to 6,000. So
Well, if we do nothing, what are the consequences?
we have to do
I guess they
something.
roll over what we had automatically.
We keep
No,
what
those-
we have, and that's a 20% increase, and we're not
That's
budgeting
what I'm
for
saying,
it.
it's,
I mean, you either
we
take,
have a better choice tonight.
I would rather do the 9% increase and
And if you don't have insurance, I can tell you that you will lose a lot of employees.
Yes.
And let me just say, there are people in the audience scoffing at that, and I'll tell you one thing. We have fantastic employees. The manager and the leader of this team will not sit here and say nothing about the quality of their benefits. That absolutely has everything to do with keeping quality staff. I have been in this business for nearly 30 years, and I know what I'm talking about, and I really would urge the council to make a decision, understanding there are no perfect choices, but we need insurance. It is a major, major issue. It is probably as important, if not more so, than pay.
So, William, I know that we have a pension fund and a pension committee.
Yes.
Is there any way that we could have an insurance committee so we can get the input of our citizens and our employees and everybody, and just have, so our employees have a say-so in what is happening, and they can play with the numbers all they want to?
It's just a matter of enough people staffed it, sir. And I can assure you that with the staff I have available, we have searched high and low, far and wide. And what we're presenting here is the best work we can come up with. If there are others out there that have more expertise, they are certainly willing to come. I'm more than willing to listen to them. It's just that when you have committees, it takes staff time to run them. And right now, I'm adding an additional, or I'm going to add another position to the staff in a couple of weeks that will be involved in the HR functions. And we do have more options next year than we did this year in those terms. But again, if people have information that I don't have, bring it here.
Well, let me say this, we're the body that has to approve the budget, okay? This is a key part of the budget. We have not budgeted 20%, okay? We have just not budgeted that much of an increase. And it's a tough job, Josh, but as elected officials, this is part of what we signed on. We've got to make these decisions because, you know, if you let the employees make the decisions, they don't have to pay for it. We got to pay for it.
Absolutely. But they can come with A, B, C, D. These are your options that a consensus of a group would like to see. And we can go with option F.
Somebody's got to
We don't
pay
have to
for it.
go with their options. You know, it could build buy-in, it could build a sense of community, and it could build that council is listening to the employees. You know, and it doesn't have to be staff running it. It could be someone that knows a lot about insurance.
Well, it's a little late in the game to do
I'm
that.
not saying we have to do that now. This year's not the year. But coming forward, I think that's something that could easily be ran by someone that likes insurance. And this also could be an option where if we have employees that want to look at this and save us money, that we give them a percentage of the savings.
Well,
Insurance would be huge because if they can save 2%.
But our agents here have shopped the market. They've gone to every source that we have for this insurance to stop. I mean, we could go to a lower tier quality, I suppose, but
I think that was going to be my question. If we go to the Acme Insurance Company and they have it really cheap, and I don't know if employees want to say, I'm going to trust Acme to have the doctors that I want and all of that, you know, that could be cheap.
This gentleman is being rather humble, but he is an expert in insurance. And we pay him.
You checked Acme?
We pay him to shop the market. His company